Hi, I'm Michelle Briggs. I'm the Chief Park Ranger here at the Soo Locks in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan is actually one of the oldest cities in the United States. A lot of people aren't aware of that. We were formally established in the 17th century. French explorers came and settled this area. The name of our town, S-A-U-L-T, Sainte Marie, is actually archaic French for the Rapids of St. Mary. And the rapids is what we get our name from, and the rapids are what really defines this community. In the 17th century, when the first explorers arrived here, they found the rapids and they could hear them from 4 miles away. They were impassable, and everything had to be taken out and carried around those rapids. And this waterway, the St. Mary's River, has always been a critical navigation route for trade. Even before the Europeans arrived, the Native American peoples used it as a trade route between the communities on Lake Superior and communities on the lower lakes. The very first locks were built here on the St. Mary's River in 1798. They were built on the Canadian shoreline on the north side of the river, and they were designed to allow Montreal canoes to pass through. These are trade canoes that were about 40 feet long and could carry 4 tons of goods in a single trip. During the War of 1812, a party of American soldiers came here and they destroyed that lock because they wanted to cut off that link for the British. Between 1814, when that lock was destroyed, and 1855, there were no locks here in Sault Ste. Marie. There was still a lot of cargo moving on the river, but it could not get through the rapids. So what would happen is a load cargo ship would pull up above the rapids. They would go to a dock there. They'd spend a week getting unloaded, and then they would spend another week getting loaded with a new cargo before they returned to the ports they came from. To have ships on Lake Superior, they actually had to also portage, or portage, the French word meaning to carry, those ships around the rapids. They would pull a ship out of the water below the rapids, put it in a special cradle, and they would haul it up Portage Avenue. This process took up to 7 weeks. And then once that ship reached the upper end of the rapids, they would relaunch it, and then it could work on Lake Superior. This was a very expensive and very time-consuming way to handle bulk cargoes. At that time, one of the main cargoes they were handling was copper and iron ore, which are both very heavy cargoes. In the 1850s, they finally got a lock project approved here in Sault Ste. Marie. The federal government granted the state of Michigan 750,000 acres to pay for that project. So the state of Michigan offered that land as payment to the company that could successfully build a navigation lock here on this site. That lock was completed in 1855. It was operated by the state of Michigan until 1881. And there have been locks continuously in operation here at the Soo Locks in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan since that time. In 1881, the state of Michigan turned the entire facility over to the federal government, and it was given to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to operate and maintain. And we've been doing that ever since that day in 1881.